Hey yo YouTube, I'm here to continue talking about the new D&D game we've been running, the one I've been calling Campaign 3. We start this session off where we left off, where we were in the hospital. Um, for whatever reason, Tobias's player ends up being a no call, no show. It's like a week later. I still don't know what happened with that. Um, and but we start off where Dio wants to do some like scrolling magic or mess with the scrolls, and it's gonna take a day. So he ends up asking us to wait here for a day. Joe's like, this is a collapsing world. I don't really think it's a good idea, but whatever. During the time we're waiting, Osita, one of the Asian girls, comes up and approaches Joe and says that they got a bunch of food from the vending machine. She says that she found something interesting and that she shows him a Coke bottle that, or yeah, I believe it's a bottle. I remembered it being a can, but listening to my notes, he said a bottle. But it looks like a Coke bottle, but it's called Nozzlin, and it's supposed to be from the Paul Sheldon books, or like my character's only on book four, but apparently, or book three, but apparently in book four, or sometime after that, they introduced this brand of Coke, and apparently it like kind of tastes more like what I would know as root beer. And then the next morning, whenever Joe wakes up, his communication mirror ends up activated, and he opens it up, and it's armor ready. And pretty much she tells him that she wasn't able to get in contact with Koenma or Takamura, but she was able to contact Muya, who is his Botan, pretty much his Grim Reaper that they assigned to him. And apparently she's been able to see me, or she's been watching me the whole time, but I guess it's been kind of hazy, or the reason why she can't make communication with me is because I'm around these shifted characters, these Fateers, what as players we know them as. Uh, but she kind of says that they're out of her jurisdiction, and kind of as long as I'm around them, she can't make full contact. And they tell me that the world or is failing, but it isn't collapsing. Like eventually, it will stabilize. She says eventually it'll stabilize and we'll be able to make it to Onai worlds. And they tell me something about I need to find a Kame Guardian. And if I'm able to find them, then a samurai will rise and they'll be able to rally the people. And to continue with the plan, to head southwest, uh, meet up with the refugees, and eventually we'll hit what's called a Shinto shrine. And I asked something about the shrines being magical. She says the reason why the veil is falling because we're at the borderlands, and it's leading into the waste woodlands where the area is tainted and the veil is weak, or the veil is thin there, and the shrines are holy places. And I guess that's where the teleports are or something. Um, but then I end up suggesting, well, should I ditch the shifters? And she pretty much says, like she, I guess she repeats again, or she says it now, how they're out of her jurisdiction. And she says something about like we're not going to be able to leave this place until this gets done. Um, so I go to the Asian girls and and tell them what's going on or what I just found out. We end up deciding to ask Dawn about this, the werewolf. And at first, I think we ask about the shrines, and she doesn't know that, but she knows about the guardians. And she says something about how they were hunting down samurais. Or she says when the guards and the samurais were driven off, that's when the place became open territory. Um, we decide to continue with the plan to head to the south. And Joe tells them that information from the spirit world is kind of an exclusive club. So until I get notice otherwise, let's keep this between us. Um, And they ask him, like, do you trust the other ones, Joe? And Joe's like, no, not at all. One's a vampire who's been sucking y'all's blood this whole time and is itching to get to town so we could go hunting. And I don't think the other one trusts us. So eventually we move on with the journey. And they believe we travel through the town through 90 minutes, and then we make our way out and we travel a day. Um, uh, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, but if I didn't, it's nighttime 24/7 here. With the exception of the werewolves having some kind of changing cycle, that's the only thing we've been able to tell when it was night. But we end up actually seeing a red sky from afar. We do eventually start to see a village, and when we get closer, we see a camp of refugees. Joe ends up approaching them. They're speaking Japanese to him. Uh, I find it funny because at the beginning of campaign two, a lot of times only Onyx was talking the Wimic language, satire, and now in this one only Joe speaking Japanese. They asked me where, or they asked Joe, and then where's this group from? Because we're obviously not locals, and I say we're coming into town. We're coming in from town, and as where we're from, let's just say we're from nowhere. They say there's a few bandits, and that there's one ogre that's guarding the gate, and um, and Joe tells them that Team Nowhere pays no fees, and that I'm gonna go punch that ogre right in his face, and if you want to get through, you follow me, and and they're like that's kind of really brave, and I think they might even kind of like say like it might be dumb, um, but they're like, well, if I don't think they use the word Ka, but they say something similar, and then later on they say something like the Ka Guardians, uh, but they say something like that, like if that's like what's supposed to happen, then let it be, and if not, I guess you're gonna die. And Joe tells the group there's an ogre over there and I'm gonna go punch him in the face. And like Dio's like, right now? And he's like, yep. And he starts headed towards where the shrine is. So we approach the thing, the DM puts up a map. We see like a Japanese looking village thing, and there's a vortex, and in front of it there's like what looks like a big orc wearing a Raiden mask on the pic. Um, Joe starts to approach it, and then again his communication mirror starts activated, and and Already's in it, and pretty much he tells them that you're gonna have to wait to go through the vortex. You're gonna have to wait for it to be, I guess, stable, and it might take a few hours. It might take a few days. And Joe's like, well, can I go punch that ogre in the face right now? And she says that, does the ogre need to be punched in the face? And he's like, he's like, the ogre's been keeping refugees from going through the vortex. So, yes, the ogre does need to be punched in the face. And she's like, well, then, Joe, you go punch that ogre in the face. So Joe closes his communicator, and before this, he was actually talking about making a plan, like having Tobias circle around and stuff. But then once when he has this conversation, he closes it, turns around, approaches the ogre, and the ogre again in Japanese is like y'all don't look like y'all have payment. He's like, are those girls the payment? And Joe summons his yokai flame, pretty much his flaming sword, and he says, I got your payment right here, and if you don't get out of the way, I'm gonna overcharge. The DM says he laughs, and Joe also did the patented Joe Yagami laugh too there. And the DM says, roll initiative, and let's look at the map, old school DSP style, and check it out. So initially, Ogre starts off here, and let's take a closer look at him. Like I said, looks like a big orc with a Radiant's hat. So take a look at initiative. Um, for some reason the number says 20, but I'm pretty sure the ogre was first because he did attack before me at one point. Uh, but then yeah, it looks like Jade, Dio, Tobias, one of the other Asian girls. That's not the Osa, that's the other one. Joe, the newer Asian girl, the new player that's never here, Dawn, and then these two end up getting spotted. One over here. Start of the fight, he comes down. As a Joe is like hereish during the start of the fight. I know Geo is like way down, like farther down where the map is. The whole party actually is off map right now. They're a little bit further down. And there's refugees down there right now. That's why I'm not showing it. Uh, uh, but so he comes down, hits Joe. Uh, uh, Jade Jade starts doing her Bard's inspiration. Tiberius, he starts to head towards one of the archers. Um, the other Asian girl, which I can't remember her name, goes and attacks him. Joe also run. Joe does charge with a power attack. Pretty much losing his pluses from the charge. Uh, and it ends up getting a good hit. Like this is the second fight in a row where the dice weren't against Joe. Um, the Dawn ends up doing her Howl thing, which also gives us another +1. Um, the archers shoot us up. Uh, I don't remember if it was the first round or this. I want to say the first round Joe didn't charge. The first round Joe did a hellish rebuke. Yeah, because the whenever he did his hellish or whenever he did his charge, he had Don's pluses. Uh, but yeah, like the whole fight, Joe's using those pluses for his power attacks, and he's hitting pretty heavy. And the way his hellish rebuke is, he gets 3D rounds of burn damage, which I believe I rolled a 2. And then on top of that, like uh, Dio's first round, he does something called rope trick or rope use, and pretty much he makes his rope go into the sky. He climbs up it, does an action surge, and I guess like enters a portal. But the thing is, he doesn't tell the DM how this works. He just says like what the name of it is, and then whenever the archers are shooting, like they shoot at him and miss, and he's like, even in my portal, and he's like, what are you talking about? And then that's when he kind of breaks down that he should be in like a portal right now. But then like other rounds, he does some kind of hand that goes over to Joe and gives him bull strength. So Joe ends up having a handful of pluses. And then at the end of the fight, Joe ends up getting the how do you want to do this? I say I'll punch him in his face. Um, One thing I forgot to mention was that Dio ended up putting two of the Archermans in webs, and whenever I knock out the or kill the ogre with a knockout punch or with a punch to the face, one of them jumps through the vortex and another one gives up. So we end up having three guards as hostages. So we end up having like three guards as prisoners or whatever. And for the most part, we spend pretty much the rest of the session trying to figure out what we're going to do with the three prisoners. Um, Joe's just kind of like is kind of like it's out of my hands. Ends up kind of asking the refugees. The refugees say that they just don't want to go through at the same time they go through. Um, we start to talk it over, and for a while, Dio starts talking about how he wants to wrap a bag of holding around the guard's neck and push him through the portal. and pretty much, I guess, make it implode and blow up. Uh, and he's like, kind of like, because I'm a scientist and I would want to know how it works. I would want to see how it is and stuff like that. And Joe's like, dude, that's our way out. Like, you do that, you're going to destroy this portal. Um, and Dio's like, why are we trying to save this world anyways? We've only been here for a few days. Like, what do we care? And I say, like, we're not. I'm not telling you to save the world. I'm telling you because that's our way out. That's the way the only way we can get out of this world. Um, and he's kind of like, oh well, I thought it was that. And and then like one of the other characters tell me like, yeah, it was probably a good idea not to tell them the whole story. Uh, but thinking about it, anyways, just putting a bag of holding through it wouldn't make it blow up. You would probably have to like turn it inside out or something. Because technically, eventually, we're gonna walk through it with bag of holdings. The Band of Titans walk through portals all the times with bag of holdings, so I don't think that would have worked the way he was thinking. And also, like Joe has plane knowledge, so because like at first we made it like he didn't know what he was talking about, which at first actually I didn't. Uh, but think about it, like after I thought about it, after the game was over, I was like, actually, Joe probably would have knew what he meant. But we end up like deciding to send them in before us, because Joe's saying that the thing's unstable. He hasn't really told them why. Um, but we end it there. Future predictions. Like I said, Joe's probably gonna pretend like his thing's telling him it's unstable. Joe's probably gonna call a bluff, say that he's waited until he thinks it's ready. If y'all want to go through now, go through now. I don't care. Which really isn't a bluff because he doesn't care. Um, but for the most part, I see the other two players, but pretty much also saying like, "Hey, I waited a day for you to do scrolls, and I left that place with air conditioning and stuff, because you wanted to go hunt in a village." Um, which Joe brings up all the time. Joe has not let that go, but we'll see what happens. You want to know? Check out the next video. You want to know the whole story of all this world? Watch all my videos and check you later.